Hey friends! So a different kind of Tuesday tip today. Usually I have like a thought or a quote that I've been thinking about, but this morning I woke up and it was Tuesday, which means in our house it's Taco Tuesday, and I know that for a lot of you that means it's Taco Tuesday as well. So when I was thinking about what to bring you today, I was thinking about how I needed to make guacamole tonight. And how I make guacamole like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week probably, honestly. And I thought, you know what? Not everyone has like a go-to way to make their own guacamole. So my guac game has been like stepping up since we moved to Southern California. And I've learned that the fresher the ingredients, the better the guac. So I wanted to just kind of share that with you today. And if you guys have like questions or suggestions or ideas for how you make your guac even better, I would love for you to comment. I love guac, so I'm always looking for new ways to make it better. And I even have on my guac shirt today. It says, I know guacamole is extra. So anyway, let's get started. So the camera's at like a funky angle, so we'll see if this works or not. Obviously the first thing that we have are avocados, which around here are pretty stinking good all the time. I have this half of a one left over from the other day. So I just pop the pit out and scoop that sucker into my bowl. And then we usually use like 1.5 or 2 avocados because, like I said, we like a lot of guac. And if you have good avocados, then it'll stay good for like a day in the fridge. If you cover it with like some saran wrap and keep it tightly like closed off from the air, you can keep it kind of good for a while. So it's our opinion that you can never have too much guac, so you might as well use more. So we got our avocados in here, and I don't mash them yet because I like our guac kind of chunky, so I might like stab them a little with the spoon, but we keep them pretty big. And then the first fresh ingredient that I put in is onion. So I use red onion in my guac, and I'm not a huge red onion fan in general life, but I do think that it adds a lot to guac, and it doesn't taste that oniony. Like if you think you don't like onions, just try it. Just cut them really little. I was gonna try and show you how I cut my onion. Maybe if I back up a little bit. Because onions are also like tricky for people to cut. So I think that's part of why people stay away from it. But so I cut the bottom off. So I cut the little nubbins off and throw that away. And then I cut them in half like that. And then I put this flat side down on the cutting table, or the cutting board, whatever you want to call it. Peel off the little skin, because that's nasty. You don't want that in there. But there's a lot of people who don't like onions, but I will say you can also like cut them and then mush them so that it's not quite as pungent. But then what I do is I take the knife, maybe you can see this, and I kind of slice it in. If I cut my arm off doing this, it's going to be really embarrassing for all of the Facebook world to see. So you kind of cut in a few times. I'll bring it in so you can see. So like it's cut kind of, I don't know if we can see this. I cut it like in that way. And then I take it again and I slice it into slices towards the middle of the core. Like this. Or you could just buy one of those fancy dancy little like chopper dealios and it'll cut it for you, but we don't mess with that. So I cut it so it's kind of like squares. And then the last part is you just cut it and it becomes these perfect little diced onions. So I'll cut the rest of that up later. So I put, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 cup in with our guac, maybe 1/4 cup, somewhere between there, just to give it a little flavor. And then we cut up little cherry tomatoes, and again, for people who don't like tomatoes, they get hidden in guac, and they add like good flavor without feeling like you are like sucking on a big tomato. So we use these little cherry guys, and I slice them in half lengthwise, so like this. So it'll be a long piece like that, and then I cut it in half lengthwise again, and then I cut it into like thirds, depending on how big the tomato is. So we just cut up some of these. They're like a little bit sweet, and they're a little acidic, so they pick up the salt really well. I think that's why, I don't really know. But the more fresh ingredients that you have in your guacamole, the tastier it's going to be. That's why we like restaurant guacamole, and that's why like the tableside guacamole is so delicious at restaurants. It's because they make it all fresh, right? Like it's right in front of you. They're cutting the avocados, they're cutting up the onions. Like none of that stuff was sitting around. None of it was dried out. It was all like brand spanking new that day. So that is what we try to do. You know, here in the restaurant of the Alemano family, our humble little kitchen. So I'll cut these up, and then I just scoop them in here with the rest of the goodies. And then I kind of mash it at that point, because then everything gets kind of like squishy together. So we just kind of, I don't know if we can see, moosh, moosh, moosh. Moosh, moosh, moosh. And like I said, we like ours kind of chunky, so I don't mush it too much. Some people like get out the spoon and like stir it and all that kind of stuff. But we're not really into that. But if you are, that's great. Just maybe mash up the avocados first, and then it'll be super yummy. Oh, jalapeno. We almost forgot the jalapeno. So the other thing you can do, and you don't have to, but we have some friends out here who have turned us to be Amanda, I'm just seeing your comments. But all the guacamole, yes. So we have some friends out here who have turned us into spicy lovers. We used to like a little bit of flavor, but now I'm gonna cut up this whole jalapeno and put it in here. And the thing about jalapenos is that when they're fresh, they're really not that spicy. Like they just have a really good flavor. So don't be afraid to add some fiery kick to your guac, because it's gonna be super tasty, and again, it just adds like so much freshness. So I never would have thought I would have been adding jalapenos to my guac, but I tell you what, living in Southern California, everything is spicy out here, so it's almost like you don't really have a choice. It's gonna be spicy, so you might as well get on board. So that's kind of what we've done, and you know what? We like it. We haven't died yet. So for all you Midwesterners who are afraid to put spicy in your food, time to get on board. So I'm putting that whole jalapeno in there. And then the spices that I put, I like to use fresh garlic when I have it, but our garlic press just broke. So I have a little bit of garlic powder that I'm going to put in, just like a few shakes. And then cumin is a must. That is like double guac special flavor. So I don't mess around with the shaker thing. I don't know, guys, maybe like a teaspoon. I shake like that much in. And then we also add a little bit of cayenne, ground cayenne, because it's delicious. Just like a few shakes, or however much you like. And then some salt. And okay, we also usually like fresh limes, but we don't have any today, and I accidentally maybe made margaritas and used up the rest of our all natural whatever lime juice. So I have this little baby lime juice that I got from the store in case of emergencies like today when you need to have guac and you don't have a fresh lime. So for this, it's like a squirt and maybe all that's left in here, but I think for like an avocado and a half, maybe like half of a lime, like the juice of half a lime is pretty good. And then we just mix it all up, and holy moly, it's so pretty. Like, look at how colorful this is. Oh, you can't even see it because it's not bright enough. It's gorgeous, and it smells delicious. Oh, cilantro. I was like, I know I'm forgetting something. So the last thing I mix in is fresh cilantro, and I just like bundle it up and kind of chop it. Like as much as you like. You can't really have too much. cutting board's a little wobbly, that's why it's loud. So we put that in. Maybe you can't have too much, that was a lot. And then my favorite part, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, the chips. So we started buying these new chips from Costco. Have you guys seen these yet? They're Luke's Organic Superfood chips, and they're like sweet potato and corn, and they're like, you know, all the like non-GMO, gluten-free, natural stuff that people are all souped up on. So they're like extra good for you, and they're super tasty. They're like a little bit sweet. So now we get to taste test. So here, would you like a bite? Just kidding. That was good. Yep. That's a solid batch of guac. So I'd love to know what you guys put in your guacamole that is different or more or less or just anything compared to what I just did. So I hope you guys have an awesome Taco Tuesday. I hope you have some great guac in your life tonight. And if you ever want to come over for guac at my house, you just call me. We're open all the time. All right? Talk to you later.